Okay, move to the moment of my feedback. What am I tasting? Candy. Oh, thank you very much. I bet on the green.
Wow, I'm coming to your class.
Well, the amazing thing is that it works. It actually works. And, it's
I'm
a lot
in.
of training. It takes a lot of practice. This is not something that you learn overnight. We teach the ARV to our regular CRV clients just as a familiarization, and everybody immediately wants to go out that evening and bet on the Pick 6 lottery, which has actually 12 digits to it, because there are 6 balls, 2 digits on each, and they want to go out and win millions of dollars. And guess what? Hasn't happened yet.
Lyn, this really makes me wonder, and I'm sure listeners are wondering, if you're able to go in and out and move through time, what does that indicate to us about our free will? What does that mean then? What are we in? Are we in a matrix, literally?
Well, I kind of think we are. However, the past seems to be more fixed than the future. There do seem to be ways that we can influence the past and hopefully even change the past, but the future is still open. And one of the analogies that we use is that you're a bug on the pond of time, and you see another bug across the pond, and it's sitting there, and you think that would make a good meal, and it's sitting there beside this big rock. So you go skittering across. You decide the direction you're going in time, and you skitter across the pond of time, and it sets up a wake in front of you, and that wake may scare away that other bug, but it can't scare away the rock. There are rocks in the pond of time, and there are bugs on the pond of time, and the trouble is, that we have a hard time telling the difference. There are some things in time that are going to happen no matter what.
Why?
I don't know. Sort of the analogy I like best is that life is like playing chess with God, and you can pull off some really smart moves, and you can capture some men, and you can do your best, but in the end, he's going to win the game.
How is this translated into your relationship with God or a divine creator?
I have a very close relationship with God, and the remote viewing, some of the remote viewing targets that I've gotten in the past, and even in the military, have brought me even into a closer relationship with God. I have learned in very real terms the difference between churchianity and Christianity. And
that's a great distinction. That's a really great distinction.
It's a distinction that most people don't make. But the relationship I have, 3 weeks ago, I got bitten by a rattlesnake. And I didn't go to a doctor, didn't go to the emergency ward or anything. Now, I don't recommend this to everybody. I just sort of sucked it up and lived with it. Well, one of my friends, in fact, one of the medicine men up on the Indian reservation, he said, well, you could have died. And I said, no, when God wants me to die, I die. When some rattlesnake wants me out of his, out of his imaginary territory, I'm not going to die for that, And I said, many, many things in life are determined simply by who you put in charge of your life. And as for me, I put God in charge.
Very, very interesting. Have you ever been accused of being of the devil?
Oh, yeah, all the time. Not only of the devil, but also of the government and, of the Illuminati and of the, who knows what. Yeah. I still get like 1 or 2 death threats a month.
Seriously?
Oh, yeah, because people think that, there's some people with very loose touch to reality, and they think that the government is in their mind and eating away at their brain and everything, and all of a sudden they find me on the internet, and I was the government remote viewer and the trainer, and they all of a sudden have a name to put to their fears. And I get death threats still.
Does it ever just become another thing?
Oh yeah. I took a couple of them to a psychiatrist, and the psychiatrist looked them over, and he said, "Listen, the ones that you have to fear are the ones that don't threaten, because you never know they're coming." And he said the ones that do threaten, they vent their anger. That gives them relief from their fears, and they're the ones you don't have to worry about.
There are some remote viewers that have remote viewed people's passings, their deaths.
Yeah.
Why? Why are they doing that?
One of the teachers that's out there gives his students has them remote view the moment of their death, which I think is pretty
traumatic.
It's a crappy thing to do. I would never do that. But that same teacher, when we were both in the military, he found out that I would not view death, that I just shied away from it. And so he started giving me people targets, which I'm good at, and he would move me forward through time. Well, he would select these people who were dying in all these different situations, and he would move me through the moment of their death on. I was raised Baptist in East Texas, and you go to heaven or you go to hell, and that's it. And what I found out from these sessions was that there are those who go to what I would call hell, and a tenth of a second after they move there, I would be thrown out of that session, and I would have nightmares for a month. There are other people who go to what I would call heaven, and I would, just totally affect my life positively and all that, as from the experience. There are also people who tend to reincarnate and come back as around like a 12-year-old kid, not as a baby, but a 12-year-old kid. And there are others who just quit existing. And so what I learned from it is that maybe the atheists are correct, maybe the Baptists are correct, maybe, the reincarnationists are correct and all that. I never found any kind of correlation between the way the person lived and what happened to them after, they went through the death experience.
Why do you think that is?
I have no idea. I just know that, if there's a chance to go to hell, I sure don't want to do it.
I think it's really refreshing that you say when you don't know. Because usually when you have a high degree of competency in a number of areas or in anything, people are very reluctant to say, I don't know that. I have no idea.
Yeah, but, the fact is that we're still in kindergarten here.
Indeed.
We have so much to learn about the human mind, the human psyche, the way it works, and our connection to the, I guess you would say, the great unknown, the collective consciousness or whatever. There's so much yet to learn that I think it's irresponsible to just make up an answer when you don't know the answer. I think it's very responsible to delineate exactly what you don't know.
What do you think about the near-death experiences that people have shared around the earth? Their physical body went into a state of death, but their consciousness and their spirit returned to their body to continue their life.
Been there once. I was in a coma from viral encephalitis from the measles that had gotten into my spinal column. And the doctor had said, that I would not live through the night. And I had one of these experiences, and I think they're real. I know mine was.
Can you describe it to us? It's just if you'd like to share it. If it's too private, that's fine.
Well, it's pretty private.
Okay.
But it's pretty private.
Okay. We'll do.
Not anything embarrassing or anything, but it's just a very long story that of what happened to me during that experience.